Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing a Chicago Bears mock draft. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach my goal of 825 subscribers. I'm about 30 away. We're going to try to reach that goal by the end of January, so help me reach that goal. Like this video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. The next mock draft that I will be having coming out is my Dallas Cowboys mock draft via Scotty B's request. So make sure that you put whatever team you want to do next in the comments down below. Tell me what your thoughts are on the trades and on the picks and stuff like that. Great to hear from all the Bears fans out there. And even if you're not a Bears fan, great to have you here as well. So let's get started with today's video. So with the second overall pick, I have the Bears trading it away to the Detroit Lions, though I highly doubt this move would be made in real life because, well, you don't want to trade with the Lions because they're a division rival, but they were the best trade partner. So as we get closer to the real thing, I probably will make it a little bit more realistic that the Bears probably wouldn't trade with the Lions. Maybe they would, probably not. But the picks that I got was the 6th overall pick, the 47th overall pick, and the 59th overall pick. So a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks to trade back from 2 to 6. So with the 6th overall pick, I selected Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. I do not expect whatsoever Jalen Carter to make it out of the top 5, really, but he was available, and I'm picking who was available. I think Jalen Carter, a great 3 technique. I would really, like in my dream scenario, if the Bears stay within range, they trade back with the Colts, or the Lions, or they trade back maybe with the Texans if the Texans fall below the Bears and they want to move up a slot or something. If the Bears move back but stay close, I would love for them to select Jalen Carter and then to pick up a Daron Payne this offseason or a Jalen Hargrave or something like that. To make sure that you have 2 good 3 technique defensive tackles. And then maybe if you don't, maybe if it's Jalen Carter and Justin Jones, that's much better than Justin Jones and a myriad of guys this season, and not even the entire time with Justin Jones. So really it would be a big upgrade to get a monster in the middle like Jalen Carter himself. So with the 47th overall pick, the Bears selected Felix Uzama. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong at all. I didn't say his other last name because, well, that one was a little bit difficult for me to pronounce, but I'm sorry. As we get closer to draft season, I will be able to start understanding more of these names and how to pronounce them correctly. Either way, the edge out of Kansas State, really dynamic player, has a lot of athletic potential, which is something I really like, especially in defensive ends. I think that as an edge rusher, you really need a lot of help. The Bears have almost no pressures in they're the last in the NFL. They're one of the last in sacks. They just do not get after the quarterback, and the 3 technique is important. But with Will Anderson off the board before the Jalen Carter pick, I'd be happy with either one, depending on which position you're looking for, whether it's edge rusher or 3 technique defensive tackle. I think that the biggest need on this team personally is the defensive line. It's just period the defensive line. Then it's the offensive line. Then it's the wide receiver core. And then it's everything else. Those 3 position groups are the most important. I think that the offensive line, it has, I think, pieces that are a little bit better to get in free agency rather than in the draft, just because I think that there have been a lot of mistakes, or not as much high-level draft talent. This draft, there isn't a lot of great draft prospects. Peter Skoronski is the top tackle prospect. His arms are incredibly short, and most people see him as a guard coming into the NFL. And though that would be nice at left guard to replace a Cody Whitehair if the Bears do release him, I don't think that that's the main purpose. I would probably go with a more right tackle or center prospect, as we'll talk about that in a second. So heading on to the next pick at number 55, I have the Bears selecting Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. He is one of the better wide receivers in this draft class. I would say a tier 2 level wide receiver. Tier 1 kind of being maybe like a Jalen Hyatt, the Jackson Smith and Jigba, that type of class, the Jordan Addisons, and then I think Cedric Tillman is the top of that second tier. But I think the wide receivers, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Tillman, I think, really fits the mold in which the Bears are looking for, in that which, well, really the Bears could look for a speedy guy or a big, strong possession receiver as well. So now with pick 59, I selected Drew Sanders, the linebacker out of Arkansas. High-level linebacker prospect, probably one of the better ones in the draft class. That isn't Will Anderson. I would say he's probably second or third best, depending on who you want to look to. I really like him. I think he can fill that role right next to Jack Sanborn, who I think has earned a role as a starting linebacker going into next season. I think that the Bears just need to add one more linebacker in the draft class, one more linebacker in the free agency class, and I think that you're looking at a really good linebacking core going into next year. So at pick number 65, I have the Bears selecting Tyler Davis, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. I think that he continues to fill up your defensive tackle depth chart, especially with right now the Bears have not signed a free agent defensive tackle, and that means I think you really need 3 good defensive tackles going into next season. I think Justin Jones can be one of them. Tyler Davis and Jalen Carter are the other two at the moment. If the Bears sign another defensive tackle, then I don't think it's necessary that you do, because Tyler Davis is more of the 1 technique to 3 technique. He's not going to be 5 or more because, well, he's a little bit more heavier set. He's 330. He's a little bit more of a nose tackle, but can play that 3 technique as well. So now to address the offensive line, at pick 101, I have the Bears selecting Ricky Stromberg, the center out of Arkansas, another great prospect out of the Razorbacks country. Probably one of the best centers in this class. You have John Michael Schmitz, Ricky Stromberg are both up there as some of the top centers in this class. I think that he is a good selection, especially coming in the 4th round. So at pick 131, I have the Bears selecting Cody Mauch, the offensive tackle out of North Dakota State. I think he could play right tackle. A lot of people have him as a high 3rd round, maybe late 2nd round pick, so I really thought this was a steal. So I think that Cody Mauch definitely has some potential to be a later round steal for some people, and I think really has a good overall basis there. Then at pick 133, 2 picks later, I picked Trey Palmer, the wide receiver out of Nebraska. I think that this is a position group that the Bears need to address multiple times throughout this draft in wide receiver, especially with a really weak free agent class. I think that was one of the reasons for taking Claypool and spending so much capital on him. A 33rd overall pick, maybe even the 32nd overall pick in this draft, just because, well, Chase Claypool was one of the best wide receivers available. And looking into this draft class, or looking into free agency, there's just not a lot there. Then with pick 155, I once again addressed the wide receiver position by taking Zachary Franklin, the wide receiver out of UTSA. Great player, really flashed when I watched him in the Cure Bowl when they were playing. Who did they play? UTSA. Who did they play in that game? I cannot think of the team's name, but they played really well. Zachary Franklin kind of flashed, and I'm like, that's an interesting player. Bigger body type of wide receiver. I think really fits that role really well as maybe a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. Going into next year, I would be perfectly fine with that. And then at the final pick, at pick 197, I have the Chicago Bears selecting Deuce Vaughn, the running back out of Kansas State. I'm a little bit concerned about his height compared to the rest of this draft class. He's only probably about 5'8", 5'9", but man, he is elusive. He packs a punch. He is really low to the ground and hard to tackle. I don't expect his NFL career to last very long just because of how small he is, but he is a tough player. So I think that Deuce Vaughn is a really good player. It seems in this draft, I really like Arkansas and Kansas State players, picking two of them each, but I think a really good running back overall. So to wind up the draft class, I selected Jalen Carter at 6, Felix Uzama at 47, Cedric Tillman at number 55, Drew Sanders at number 59, Tyler Davis at number 65, Ricky Stromberg at 101, Cody Mock at 131, Trey Palmer at 133, Zachary Franklin at 155, and Deuce Vaughn at 197. So that's going to wrap up today's mock draft. Make sure that you put your comments down in the comments section. Hit the subscribe button up here and hit the 2 videos down below. One will be the playlist of all of my mock drafts so far. That's all for today's video. As always, have a great day. Bye.